Hello, I'm Steven, the calculator guy, and yes, I did trim my beard. You never trim I don't ever trim the way I want to. I always try just getting rid of the scragglies, and then I end up trimming more, and then, every morning I wake up and go, trying to push the beard back out faster. We'll see if we'll see if it works. So, anyways, we're talking about another Terra Luna protocol today, Mars. I'm not intentionally rotating to Terra Luna. It's just that they had two really interesting protocols launched back to back. So we're giving them coverage, right? Aperture was a couple days ago. I am staking over there. We have an AMA with them tomorrow on the Discord. Pretty stoked about that. But Mars is doing another thing that I was really excited about. So there's these two protocols, which are like the two things that I wanted to see on Luna. One of which is automated delta neutral strategies with Mirror and Anchor. The other one is leveraged yield farming. Now, Mirror is still in its fledgling early stages, so they don't have the strategies that I want to see. They have one of them, but they don't have the majority of the strategies that I want to see. So I'm going to keep a close eye on them, and I think you guys should as well, and keep it as part of your research rotation, right? So a research rotation just means like you look at these things at least once a week. So like I recommend looking at Beefy, right? Look at all the chains on Beefy and see what's new and what's happening. Alpha Homora maybe is one that I frequent. DeFi Llama is I just go through them and see what's changed in TVL. I look at the forks and see if anything's new on there. I found Tethys that way. I could do a whole video about Tethys, pros and cons, but I'm not gonna do that right now. We're talking about Mars. So, anyways, I'm gonna be adding Mars to my list of things to consistently follow up with because there are a lot of leverage yield farms that I'm interested in. So my first impression of Mars is, man, this is beautiful, right? Very aesthetically pleasing. It almost feels like they should be doing NFTs or something, just because it feels artistic. And that could be said for some of the other protocols on Terra Luna. But yeah, pretty cool. Very, very aesthetically pleasing. I'm not going to go through any of this because I don't know how to say this, but I don't care, right? I am here for the tokenomics and for the protocol itself. So I'm sure the team is great. I did skim the legal document, which is effectively boils down to we're not responsible for anything that happens at all ever. We may abandon the protocol may stop working, UST may depeg, this and that. All of the phrases we use are metaphorical, like lending and borrowing and debt and this and that. So I mean, they really, really covered their own arses with this one. And I do recommend looking through it. It's a masterclass in what's the word for it? Building a legal defense against future issues. So, anyways, when you go onto the protocol, the first thing you'll see are these borrowing and lending opportunities. And if you're familiar with borrowing and lending protocols, this is very it's very obvious to you what's happening here, right? You'll recognize this almost immediately. You can deposit things here, you can borrow things here. The APYs are incredibly low, but that's fine. I'm not sure how this is going to work moving forward. Maybe if there's more interest in the fields, which are the leveraged farms, then these will increase. But I'm not sure. I don't know. You can, yeah. I can't imagine that these are going to get much love. But we'll see. It's yet to be determined. And of course, there's things I don't know about this protocol. I am personally here for the farms, the leverage farms, not for the borrowing and lending. Because in terms of borrowing and lending, I'm more interested in Edge at the moment as they increase their caps and allow for more borrowing and lending, because they have a bunch of different strategies that you can utilize with your borrowing and lending. So this niche for me that I'm interested in, again, is the fields. So the fields are where the leverage yield farms are. And you can see they have 3 at the moment. I'm not really interested in Mirror UST. I'm not really interested in well, that's a lie. I am kind of interested in Anchor UST because I imagine that you could get this up to 400% APY, which is pretty good, pretty great, especially considering Anchor's chart has been like a rocket lately. So this is pretty cool actually. But I'm into the Luna UST, right? It's kind of conservative. It's probably the most conservative out of all three of these strategies, and it has a pretty good APY. Actually, it has a suspiciously good APY, because if I look at, for example, Spectrum at Luna UST, I'm getting 60% APY, right? They're aggregating from Astroport. And if I look at Loop Luna UST, I'm getting 54%. So how are we getting 75% with Mars? It's a good question. But I digress. Okay, so I've played around with this a bit at this point, and I'm not gonna lie, it's weird. So if I max your supply has to be Luna, and if my LTV is at 50%, sometimes the farm will disappear, sometimes it won't. And I thought I had that figured out, that you had to have it behind under 48%, because that's where it was working before. But now I can, and it does this. It'll just randomly put it back at 0. Yeah, I can move this up, and it'll lower my LTV. But yeah, I don't know. So I understand how the metrics work. But the whatever highlights this farm button, I don't understand what triggers that. So I had to just exit and re-enter and then get some UST in my wallet for I don't know. There's probably a reason for it. I will say this is wonky. It is still early, so there are some expected hiccups. But let's just talk about what these things down here mean. So let's zoom in a bit. So again, like I said, you have to use Luna as your primary asset, and you can borrow UST against that. That's really your only option with this protocol. You can provide your UST to lower your TVL if you want, but you're also going to lower your APY. So if you have the same amount in value of UST as you have of Luna, then you're not leveraging at all. The only way to leverage is to lack some amount of UST as a portion of value to your Luna, right? So if you have $100 worth of Luna, the UST you provide has to be less than $100 in order for you to leverage. And if you provide no UST, then you're going to leverage a maximum of 2x, right? So your collateral ratio, your LTV would be 50%, your collateral ratio would be 200%, or your leverage would be 2x. Okay, so you can see I would get liquidated at any price under 54, which really, I mean, is not that far away. We're 2 weeks away from being at 54. It's amazing that we're still semi-bullish here. Yeah. So, it's really not unrealistic, but you probably have at least a few days of bearishness before we hit that. So if you're monitoring your protocol, you should be able to exit reasonably before that. Now I'm going to provide 30 USD just to really lower that. I know I'm lowering my APY to 135, but I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. Yeah, and so we'll go with this, and you can see that your liquidation threshold, what this means is the value of my Luna is right here, the value of my UST is right here. If for whatever reason UST depegs, or look, it's gone. I can't do it anymore. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. Why can't I farm this now? I don't understand it. Oh well, maybe it's because I don't have the transaction fee. Maybe I have to be able to have enough money for the transaction fee, maybe. Let's see. If I wait long enough, maybe this will come back. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so basically, if the value of my Luna drops below this line, I get liquidated. If the value of my UST drops below this line due to depegging, I get liquidated. This red line just means the maximum LTV you can have, which is 50%. Oh, look, it worked. Okay, so I really don't know what it is. Like I said, it pops up and then goes away. But yeah, so this is fine. Let me try this one more time. Let me max this. And wait, I think what it could be is that, no, because I still have $2 to pay for gas. I don't understand. Maybe it's that I need it to borrow, right? Maybe this is only popping up because I don't it's not available to borrow. I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and just open this position before I lose it again. Okay, so once you open the position, you'll see it in your My Station, and you can see that I have a position value, which is 2x the, which is roughly two. I mean, it's not totally 2x. I'm at 45 LTV. So let's say like 1.8x my net worth, what I've put in there. I'm down $1 due to fees, and I guess slippage, I imagine. But my daily income is $2, so I should make that up in a day. $2, guys. And it's actually pretty good, to be honest, given what I've deposited. So I do want to touch back and say that with Ank UST, you can get up to 400% on Ank UST, which is really good. However, Ank is a much more volatile asset. If we look at the chart for Anchor, you can sort of see, yeah, it's definitely on a bullish run, right? This is a 4-hour chart, by the way. So it's definitely on a bullish run. But you know, it's had some recent bearish accent. It's had some recent bearish action by crossing under the trend line here. And I mean, we can look at the daily chart and it's still super bullish. Let's look at the 12-hour. Yeah, so we haven't hit the quote unquote death cross yet. Still bullish. We can see this as not a lower low yet, so we didn't hit the lower low. Maybe this is going to skyrocket. Who knows? Who knows? I hope so, right? That'd be great. But this chart has less certainty to me, even though it does look great, right? So that's it, guys. You can get 400% APY on your Ank UST. You can get 200% on your Mirror UST, and you can get over 120% on your Luna USD, which is currently what I'm doing. Don't forget to manage your risk. Do know your liquidation price and do know how close your liquidation price has been to the present day. I'm roughly like 21 days away from the liquidation price if I'm looking backwards. And if I'm looking at like the steepest declines in terms of percents, if we replicated that again, I still have a few days to pull out of my position before that happens. We would need a massive red candle for me to get liquidated on the spot. I mean, that would be 50%, right, in moments, which just hasn't happened historically. So I feel pretty confident that, hey, look, I'm up $1. I'm green now. Woo! That's exciting. So, woo. So anyways, that's Mars Protocol in a nutshell. What I'm really looking forward to, again, are those stable pairs, the B Luna Luna, the Luna X Luna, the UST AUST, B ETH if they have it. All of those things, that's what I want to see, right? Because you could crank up the leverage on those and still be relatively safe and really improve yields. I also want to see the synthetic stocks against UST because those are not very volatile. And if you're getting a 30% yield and you can crank that up to 60% yield, you have low risk of liquidation on something like Apple. That would be awesome. So yeah, I'd love to see that. We'll see if we get it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do have a Patreon. Go ahead and join if you want to. I post there pretty frequently now. Now that I have sort of have like a place to go and do work without kids crawling all over me. But yeah, I'll give you guys a quick preview of the Patreon, some of the stuff that we do. So I talked about Tethy's recently. I like Tethy's, but I sort of did a breakdown of the pros and cons. I talked about Mars when it launched. I did my big one updates, which has all of the strategies that I think are sort of viable farming strategies across all the chains. I get that updated once a week. I did a little chart analysis for Ethereum, and this is all within the past 2 days. And I got testnet access for Aperture. I think Aperture is actually, mainnet has launched live now, but we did have slightly early access for everyone. And then there are some proprietary videos and things like that. So also you can message me directly. I'll always respond within 24 to 48 hours. And you get access to the Discord. How cool is that? But I won't show you guys the Discord right now. This video has gone on long enough. Thank you all so much for watching and have a wonderful, fantastic rest of your day.